by Wilco.
You ready?
What are we actually going to do?
We are live for our very first ever broadcast of Cheshire Action TV, and yeah, we've got some real stuff coming up for you. This is going to be a treat and a heart for everyone around. We've got the studio audience in with us, they're all here. How are we doing, guys? Yay! So and as you can see, our studio's all set up. We've got live music stage where we're going to have some live music. And I've got Jojo here with us, who's going to be one of our co-presenters.
Hi.
And yeah, we're all ready to go. So, welcome to the very first ever broadcast from Cheshire Action TV. So, it's been a strange time, hasn't it, guys? I mean, the last few months now, we've been, 16 months of lockdown, and wow, hasn't the woke awoken? So we've had crazy wet wokenesses in Sandbach with protests and arguments and everyone pressing the mute button all the time to stop you from talking in council and doing the things that you want to do. And I think one of the biggest things that's really affected the town has been Cochrane's bypass, or the bike lane as we like to call it. We're still not sure whether it's a mandatory, advisory or whatever it is. But I had someone drive over it as well the one week. So while we're out there, we'll just remind people of what happened during that bike lane. We made a short film and we actually collared the Stephen Albert Martin guy. We actually collared him, and yeah, let's have a look at what happened during that encounter then, shall we?
Hi there.
My name's Dave, and as you all know, I'm not the leader of Cheshire East. We'll know who he is. And I'm here today on Old Middlewich Road, and we're looking at the bike lane, the cycle lane that they've put in. It's quite a wide lane, as you can see. It's about 7 bicycles wide. But then when we have a look on the other side of the road at what they've done, you can see we've got cars. They're properly parked within the bays, but you ain't going to get anything big down the side here. So, big around to park in the cycle lane, which in itself isn't an offence. There's two types of cycle lanes. There's an advisory cycle lane, and there's a mandatory cycle lane under the Road Traffic Act. That's how they're defined. Mr. Cochrane, he doesn't want to tell me which one they are. And it's very important that we find out which one it is, because an advisory cycle lane has no penalties. A mandatory cycle lane, on the other hand, can have penalties, but those penalties can only be enforced during the hours of operation. And for it to be a mandatory cycle lane, it can only operate a limited number of times a day. So it has to have signage that says the hours of operation and part-time hours. And at the moment, we've just got these bollards that mean nothing in the middle of the road. So what on earth they're thinking at making our town look like Monte Carlo on Formula 1 day, I have no idea. Maybe it's for the dog walkers that are now out and about so that they can train their dogs to slalom up and down. Who knows? This evening there's a council meeting at 7 o'clock. It's on Zoom. I should put the code on for everyone. Mr. Cochrane and his head custard of a portfolio holder, Calamity Crane, they're attending, and they're going to educate us on active travel and what they intend to do to our town. Well, we already know, don't we? Consultation, that means they've already made their idea. They've already made their minds up of what they're doing, and they're looking at pedestrianising the high street, bringing parking charges in, and yet more crazy schemes like this. This is what you voted for. This is what you got. And the answers from that group, the people in the asylum, is that yeah, you don't always get what you want, and sometimes Mr. Cochrane thinks he actually knows best. Well, I don't think he's listening to the lectures on this one. So you know where I stand on it. I'm always supporting the businesses and residents of Sandbach, despite what others say. So you know the phrase: keep safe, keep calm, keep well, and we will talk later.
I will adjourn the meeting now to allow questions from members of the public. So, do we have members of the public who want to have questions? Councillor Jack, aren't you a member of this committee?
I'm also a member of the public, and I'm also entitled to ask a question during this session.
I would rather have members of the public.
No, I'm entitled to ask a question. If
you can respond.
I've asked a question. I've asked a question, which is my right under standing orders. Or are you going to suspend standing orders? The question is...
Are there any other members of the public who want to speak?
No one's got their hand up.
Okay, so Councillor Jack, if you want to...
The question is that you yourself as Chair of Governance and the Mayor as Chair of the Council use Standing Order 27 to suspend my emails to Council staff on the allegation that I had sent emails that were threatening, intimidating, bullying or threatening. You claimed to have received a report from an independent person. In the letter that you sent me, you said that any questions I had to staff or any items I wanted should be filed through either the Mayor or the Deputy Mayor or the Chair of Committees to obtain the information I request. I've requested on no less than 17 occasions a copy of the report and a copy of the alleged emails that contain threatening, intimidating, bullying or abusive comments. None of that has been forthcoming. You then went to full... I haven't finished yet. Please don't interrupt. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. Right, so on the full council, at the last full council, you then... No, I haven't finished my question. I haven't finished my question.
Can you mute David Jack, please?
I haven't finished my question. Wow. Democracy in its best.
Discuss this matter because it's a confidential matter.
No, it's not. You put it in the public domain. So have your Labour members have put it in the public.
We've been advised by Chalk.
Right. I've asked for the advice. I've asked for the copy of the advice. I've asked for the copy of the advice. No, where's the evidence? You have not provided any evidence.
Can you mute David Jack,
no,
please?
I haven't finished my question. I haven't finished my question. Is this how we work? Is this the Stasi that we are now? Is this the way you operate? I was asking a question. You interrupted me before I finished that question. You have misled council at the last full council in which you said you had obtained a report, a written report, right, and had evidence. You have yet to furnish any of that evidence or that report as requested. I now have it on good authority from the individual that you spoke to in general terms about emails that no such report has ever been written and that no such evidence has ever been provided. You and the Mayor have misled council and you have publicly, your Labour group, have publicly continued to portray a lie that I sent offensive, intimidating, bullying emails, which is simply not the case. You have not given me an opportunity to review that.
Members of the council supported.
No, because you gave them a lie. On a lie. You lied, you have no such report. Where's the report? Where's your written report? Come on. Where's the evidence? You haven't shown any report or any evidence. Yeah, you carry on with your virtue signalling. Go on.
Oh, well, there we go. That was definitely an attack, I tell you what. And quite funny that actually, that we just had a little technical problem, that before I actually played that video I pressed the mute button so no one actually heard what that video was about. And what I was saying was that during the lockdown we switched to Zoom meetings, which allowed too many people the power of silence over democracy, and what they did was they actually just press the mute button if they didn't agree with you. So we had Black Lives Matter campaigning in so much because you're all so racist. We had allegations of being homophobes, sexist, misogynists, and everything else that they threw at you, basically just to discredit you as a councillor, because they wanted to shut down debate, which was exposing the things that they were doing. I actually had a monitoring officer from Standards say that I'd broke the rules and I'd breached the code of conduct because I described them as the lunatics taking over the asylum. It was apparently the most grossly offensive thing they'd ever heard a councillor say in open council. Well, it was to know what was to come a few weeks later, when I certainly ripped in and gave them a piece of my mind. So, but as I say, this is Cheshire Action TV, and we're going to be, over the next few weeks, developing this, building a new system, building our audience up and getting some live audiences here. We've got some fantastic guests lined up over the next few weeks. We've got some awesome live music as well. We're going to have some of the local talent in Sambat showcasing. Jojo here is going to be doing some sofa filming. Not the sort that you think. She's actually going to be interviewing some of our guests on a one-to-one. We're going to be out there with the cameras, and the bin inspector's going to make a return along with a fantastic game show that I know you're all going to like. And in that game show we will have our best mate over here, Dave Poole. Give him a wave, Dave. He actually is the bin inspector, and we're going to play a game called Whose Bin Is It Anyway, which will be taking a look not through the keyhole but through the bin lid, and see if you can guess whose bin that we're trawling through, because we know there's an awful lot of rubbish out there that needs exposing. So, as I say, we have had some real fun over lockdown with these people, and of course I did the series of blogs that were broadcast at the beginning of lockdown, where I broadcast on every frequency every day, just to combat what the man Stephen Albert was reporting. And I reported as not the leader of Cheshire East, and he didn't like that. He actually put a complaint in that I was reporting myself as not the leader of Cheshire East, to which the monitoring officer replied, well, he isn't. But obviously Stephen Albert Martin wasn't too happy with that. But let's just remind ourselves of some of those views. This was one about homemade cocktail makers, because if you remember, during the middle of lockdown, all the shops and that were closed, non-essential shops were closed, and most of us built home bars and lived in a bottle in the back garden, and one thing that we couldn't get was cocktail makers. So I got a very helpful one.
Today I'm going to talk to you about homemade cocktail safety. Now, during the lockdown, a lot of us have had problems with alcohol, some of us more than others, and one of the shortages in the shops has been cocktail shakers. But a local landlady that I've had a few drinks from over the time has come up with this great idea. It's a lemonade bottle. You basically cut the top off, and that's the measure for your rum and your pineapple and your stuff, and you put it in, put your ice in, and pop the lid on, give it a shake, put your funnel in your glass and pour it in. Tell you what, a few of them and the Christmas lights twinkling will give you a bit of an headache. But cocktail shaker safety. It's not made of glass, it's not made of anything breakable. and it's reusing plastic. Sandbach surfers against sewage. I'd like the use of that as well.
Here you go. This is the
You know what the saying anyway. Keep safe, keep calm, and keep well, and we'll speak again maybe if I haven't got too much of a hangover. We're back on, and how about that, guys? Homemade cocktail makers. I tell you, we really did have some fun during the lockdown period. Let's say, coming up over the next few weeks, we're going to interview people, and we're going to showcase some local talent. And what we've got going on over here is we're going to have ourselves a little live music stage to the back of us, and we're going to be showing some of the best talent in Sandbach, and really showcase this, make it into like a TFI Friday kind of program, where we're going to take serious issues and we're going to take political issues, but we're going to look at other things as well. And I think Jojo's going to get her back sorted and teach us some yoga and relaxing techniques, and I think Dave's going to talk about potholes as we go on, and the state of the roads and the infrastructure, and Nigel's going to prepare some stuff as well. Apparently he's looking rather bemused at me at the minute, and yeah, we're really going to have some fun with this, and I hope people join us, and this really could be something valuable to the community, and we might even get a clock on, you know, someone with a big hand and a little hand, but hey, let's see what happens there. We'll say nothing more about that. So been a test broadcast, and we're going to stick your live band on there just to give you an example of what happens. This is a little band that we scratched together during lockdown, and it's called Physical Rex with Blunt Instruments. And yeah, let's have a look how it's going to pan out. Oh yeah, there we go. The physical Rex with yeah, that's some fun filming that. That's yours truly on bass. It's not that hard. There's only 4 strings. Let's be honest. Can't remember the numbers of them then. So you've been watching the first test production of Cheshire Action TV, and watch this space because we've got some more stuff coming the next week or so. We're busy out there filming in the community and getting these interviews, the music and everything sorted, and yeah, it's going to be something. We didn't join something, we became something. That's our motto. So until the next broadcast, we shall speak soon. And it's good night from me, and it's
Good night from me.
and it's good night from them lot too. So see you all soon.